Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of OKCast. We're now on episode 21, and I'm your host, Tin.
And I'm your host and your best friend, Alan.
Awesome. Oh, welcome back. Um, yeah. So it's been I don't know, like almost 3 weeks since our last time. Last time that we talked.
Yeah, I think we've sort of switched to like a monthly almost.
Mm-hmm. I
We were
mean,
doing every other week initially, and then towards like September, it was like big break, and then between October and November was a big break.
yeah, we just got a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now. So, when we do it, we do it. No problem there. A-okay.
I was like watching back on one of the really early episodes, and we were like, yeah, even if we can't record on time, we release on time. I was like, nah, that never
Yeah,
happened.
right. Anyway, I hope it's not like an empty promise kind of deal. But, we haven't given up on the project at all, so it's
I
nice.
we started this with like our first rule was that it was never going to become a chore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If it ever became like we weren't enjoying it, we're not going to do it. So it's like we do it when we can or when we feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Not because we want to like make content or release like make a show or whatever. We're just sharing like our thoughts basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anything that's like going on with our lives, kind of giving general updates and our opinions, our dumbass opinions about anything,
Our
Like, don't.
uneducated,
Exactly.
ignorant opinions.
What we say isn't the right thing, but it's just what we feel is right, or maybe what we think is right. We could be wrong, you know. But this is what it's all about. That's what podcasting is about, You kind of having discussion, like our, day one, two dumb fucks getting together, having a conversation. Nothing more than that. But yeah, man,
we should
it's
do we should do another guest soon, which is like totally way doable with Discord, I think.
definitely, yeah, dude. Everyone can have their own setup at home. All they really
Yeah.
need is a webcam, if anything, which shouldn't be too hard. I hope. But other than that, yeah, I think we are due for a third, like a guest on our
I
podcast.
mean, dude, phones are so good nowadays. Like when I play D&D every week, some
Mm-hmm.
people just use their phones. There's like two or three there's like one person who just like uses their laptop or their like iMac or their iPhone or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, psh, their
Bro.
freaking camera quality is better than mine.
Oh, they use the camera on the phone too.
Yeah, the iPhone Discord. It's like nice.
Oh
I'm
shit!
like,
I thought
we
it was,
definitely can have a guest.
I was just thinking they were just using the voice part. I didn't know they were using the webcam part or the
Yeah.
camera part of it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, dude. I remember I was talking with Shijin this the other day, but Discord is probably like the best thing that's happened for a while now in terms of communication, webcamming, text channels, and groups, and like having a community.
It's
Um,
it's better than anything that has ever come before it, and I feel like it's just a better version of Skype, better version of Zoom,
mm-hmm.
better version of everything, dude.
Better version of everything, like group chats too. Like you can even have like group chat on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's you can stream, like even like streaming too. You don't have to stream to Twitch anymore. You can just stream just to your own like group of friends.
Private audience.
Exactly, a private audience. Unless you're trying to like make it big on Twitch and like actually make some kind of monetization or income. But other than that, if you're just trying to do it
And
for
but
fun,
even if you do stream to Twitch, Discord will let like everyone in your server know, like, hey,
right?
uh, going live, like that's awesome.
I just wish like everyone today would knew about Discord. Not a lot of people know about Discord. At least the people I know like that aren't like avid computer users
Yeah, all
or
the
like
gamers know.
yeah, it's as of right now it's mainly for gamers that know about it. Not for gamers, it's for everyone, but mainly gamers know about it. But I feel like it's a very not resourceful, but really useful tool for
It's so
communication.
comprehensive. It has video chat, voice chat, chat, like regular text chat, streaming.
Yeah, you can share images and like links and files. I
Thing.
think too. It's
Yeah,
it's really
file
ahead of its.
sharing.
It's like really innovative, an evolved form of communication, and all in one
Yeah,
place.
they should sponsor us.
It's for real, dude. Holy shit. I'm just talking up, gassing up Discord, just like that. We're using Discord right now too, and it's perfect. But yeah, so is there any topics you want to get into today?
Yeah. Um, so like I was telling you earlier, this is something I like just popped into my head today, and I was thinking about how, like, as we get older, and the more life we live, the more naturally you're gonna have more and more regrets. Could be just be by the nature of like living longer and doing more things. And I was just thinking about like whether or not I had any regrets, because here's the thing, like I used to think that I didn't have any. I was like, oh, like all the mistakes I've ever made were like teaching moments. Like I always learn from them. I always like grow from it. So I don't really regret those decisions. That was like my mentality before. But now I think like as I get older and like mature a little bit, I think it can be both. You can still deeply regret something, but also learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like you can regret the way you treated someone or the way you acted or whatever, but still like look back on it and be like, yeah, like I'm different now. I'm learning. I'm growing. You know?
Mm-hmm. Given that, are there any, I guess you say, regrets that you have? I mean, it's like it's hard to differentiate the word regret and like, what if I did this?
Yeah.
Do
I
they?
mean, you can regret doing something versus regret not doing something. It's still like
True.
a regret. Like, wow, I wish I like asked that girl out, or like, dang, I wish I um introduced myself to like that person. You know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are a lot of, I guess in a way, regrets, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I usually like to go or listen to the saying or the phrase. Everyone knows this phrase, like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think that really holds true because looking back on a lot of things, like oh man, I felt like I should have like took the opportunity, but there was probably something there that was stopping me, maybe a fear of being like rejected or failing, or just even like having the worst case scenario happen where I didn't want to pull the trigger or jump, take the opportunity to do what I wanted to do. And there are moments like that. Like I've always had that thought, like maybe not always, but there have been times where like oh the girl that got away kind of thing, the person that got away. Maybe I should have like took the extra step, maybe asked her out or on a date or something, or I wonder what my life would have been. It's not really a regret, but I wonder like how my life would have changed if that happened. You know.
I get what you mean. There's a lot of times where it's like, um, I think like for example, like job interviews, you're always like, dang, I regret saying it that way, or like I wish I presented myself like in a like better way, like
Mhm.
those sorts of regrets. Or like I wish I had the confidence to like uh ask for like a higher pay.
Mhm.
But definitely with that, the girl asking out girl things,
Yeah.
that was like a big hurdle for me, just because I was so afraid of like rejection for such a long time.
totally
Plus,
understand.
I was just an awkward kid. Like I was an awkward teenager. Like
Hmm.
I was weird.
I mean, I think everyone has that issue. I mean, every guy at least. I don't know about girls, but we definitely, when that time comes where you feel like you have feelings for someone, but like you just kind of are scared to be rejected, and that like who knows that within that little space where you take the leap and like go for it, you would then have your answer. But if you didn't take your shot, you would never have
You
known,
never know.
and that's a big regret for a lot of people. I myself have like that kind of regret too. But like I said, I feel like my life has progressed so far that like I'm okay with the decision that that I didn't make the decision, because I wouldn't be where I am today. In a way, it'll probably alter my life in a very strong way in a lot of decisions, I guess, because it was like so long ago. Other than that, regrets, like you said, job interview wise, it's kind of funny how you pointed it out, because I remember for the job interview I had for this job, they were asking me like, so what do you see in like a nurse manager? And like funny story, I was like, I don't know, someone who can like resolve your situations and just kind of like overall run the unit really well, and just be able to like understand how their employees feel about certain subjects, and just that in that such. And they're like, okay, so I understand like that's more like task, you know, or like actually that is what you see in a manager. But what do you see in like a leader? I was like, the same thing, like someone who can like I was like, I don't understand. Like what do you? I didn't say that. I was like, someone who can like resolve conflicts and da, 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 da. And then they're like, okay, cool. So the interview ended. I'm on my way home. I'm like thinking, why did they ask me that again? Like, why did they ask me what did they look for in a leader? And then like I thought about it, like, it just finally like clicked. A fucking light bulb clicked up on my head. I was like, oh, they're looking for someone who's fucking like they wanted me to answer to say they're looking. They want me to look for someone who is inspirational, who is can motivate and lead, and be a role model example. Not more so like the task, but something as more like someone
Yeah,
who's on the role
because
model
you can
side.
be a good nurse manager but be a bad leader.
Yeah, and it just like finally fucking clicked. What was crazy is that I was like, once I realized that in my car, I was like, fuck, that's what they wanted, dude. I fucked up that question so hard. It was crazy, and it felt so stupid to me because I was studying like these questions before my interview, like what to expect, and that was probably the one of the questions on there too. And like looking back on it, I was like, man, I feel so fucking stupid right now. I wish I could have answered that perfectly. That was probably one of my regrets.
I mean, it worked out in the end, though, right?
Yeah,
You
it
got
did.
the job anyways.
It did. Yeah, but however, I did learn from that. So, next time that question's coming up, it's like stone, like burned into my etched in my brain. I'm like, oh, I know what the answer. I know what to look for in a leader now, not in a manager. That's
I
like,
think I was just been like thinking about that because I don't know. I was just thinking about like growing older in general for some reason, and one of that like just thinking back on my life, I was like, wonder if I have any like major regrets. I was also thinking about like um just like how different I am like as an adult now compared to even like 5 years ago, like let alone 10 years ago.
hmm.
Yeah, we're all growing up.
Are there any regrets that like point out to you, or like big?
Mostly the way that I handle certain situations. I think I regret like those decisions, like the way how I, like the way I was handling like the way you handle something affects other people. It's like it's not just you.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, you can like fuck up a decision, and if it just affects you, it's like, okay, cool. I can learn from it. I can never don't do that again. I can just like figure it out. But then if it's like a decision that affects like other people, it's like, for example, let's say, um, like you were let's go back. Like I was just thinking about this like kid in elementary school, and he was like a foreign exchange student, and he didn't have any friends, and all the other kids bullied him.
Mm.
And then I was the only one who like chatted with him a couple times, and I talked to him. And then uh when the other kids started bullying him, he like looked at me, and then I just like joined in on the bullying because I didn't want to be like friends with a
Oh
different kid. And I was
god.
the look of betrayal on his face was just like it's like etched into my brain forever. I will never forget that. And it's like a very very specific regret that I have. He was from like Hungary or something. But yeah, anyways,
Mm.
that's the sort of thing I was thinking about. I was like, dang, that was a decision. Like, of course, I can think back and be like, yeah, I can learn from that. I'll never do that again. But at the time, it's like, that doesn't just affect me. That affected
Yeah.
someone. That like changed his whole like experience of school and making friends.
Probably cause like a butterfly effect.
Right.
You know. I mean, yeah, that's hard. It's I think at the time it's hard to differentiate like, what you're doing. You know. But like when you look back on it, I was like, shit. It's like fuck, dude. I should have done
Fuck,
something
I
different.
ruined that kid's life. I'm pretty
Right?
sure.
Yeah. It's like, dude, he's not gonna want to come back to school again. He might not
He
have
probably
a.
hates America and he hates like he probably had a horrible time.
Oh no. Okay, dude. I feel for that. It's hard, especially think about like a new student coming from a new school or some shit. That'd be like really, I guess in a way nervousness. But him coming from like, is he like from another country or like
He
or
was from Hungary. Yeah, he was a
Hungary?
foreign exchange student.
Damn, dude, that's got it even more rough.
He didn't speak that much English.
Uh huh.
So bad. Just thinking about it, I'm like, oh no, I forget his name already.
It's like you started cringing at your own actions from like way back then. Like, oh man, I should have been a better person. But I feel like you didn't know enough at the
Yeah,
time. You know what bullying is. Bullying is. Um, but like, at least the best you can do right now is just like pass on the knowledge or
yeah. Like I want to
teach
teach my kids.
the right thing to do
Yeah,
or the better thing to do. You know.
yeah. The reason I thought about that specific regret was like we're all getting towards that like kid having age. You know, like we're all heading towards there. And I was just like, man, I never want that to happen to my kid.
Right. It's crazy.
Mm.
Because you don't want you don't want that to happen to your kid, and you don't want that to happen to anyone else's kid as well. You
Yeah,
know,
ever.
we're trying to make a better world for everyone. I don't know, man. That's the best we could do right now. I mean, I guess you could just like, yo, hey, contact him. Yo, remember the first grade when we were hanging out with him by the recess at recess by
I
the
want
swings,
to. I
right?
just don't remember his name.
I feel like have I done anything like that before? I probably have. I just don't remember. Damn.
But yeah,
So
as we get older, these are the sort of things I think about. Um, like as I'm getting older, I find like convenience is such a priority for me. Like there's so many other things I have to worry about that like all the little things like I'll just I'll just pay extra for convenience, you know? Like I don't care anymore. Because I used to think like, oh no, it's fine. Like uh an example is like in college, I used to take public transportation a lot, and I would always take the long way that was like cheap. Like it was just like more work for me, but it was like simpler and cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But then like now looking back on it, I was like, what a waste of time. There's so much extra like steps to the journey that if I could, if I if I were me in that situation now, I would just pay extra and like cut out half the time, the convenience of it.
But in the end, you still saved money.
Yeah. And
Was
like
it was it a substantial amount of money at least, or just
uh,
it adds up?
not you. And I used to think like, oh man, like um I only order out food like once in a while and like gotta save money and like do more work. Now I'm like, if I'm too lazy or too tired, I fuck it, just order out.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to what's it called? Treat yourself once in a while.
And it's like I don't want to devote like that mental space, that energy towards like something I can just get done with like a couple of dollars, you know? Like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
can't gotta focus on like writing this or working on this project, and I just like can't think about cooking meals right now. Just all right, I'm just gonna buy something, you know?
It's nice, and it's also nice because you don't have to like go out and get it yourself. It comes right to
I
you.
think what feeds that uh urge though is Amazon. It's like, wow, I gotta buy, I gotta run to the store and get like this or get that, and like pull-up bars like fucked up. I gotta buy these certain screws or like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, right. Because you don't have to leave the comfort of your home. It just comes right to you.
It's like people keep telling me, like, oh no, it's probably cheaper if you go to like uh Best Buy or Home Depot or Home Gear, you know, like any store, actual
Hmm.
store. I'm like, no, that involves driving out there. I'll just
Right.
Amazon it.
I could save myself 30 minutes from driving out there to coming back home.
Convenience is such a priority now.
I know the instant gratification. Convenience and instant gratification. Two very addicting. I don't know feelings. Is it? I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like I've become more of a hermit because of that too. Like I don't go out and see people as much, or
Yeah, it's like you can get everything online. You can work out at home, and you can talk to your friends on Discord.
mm-hmm.
Why do you have to leave?
Exactly. it it was crazy. I feel like my small talk game has got a little worse just because of that. Just because I
uh,
don't interact with like random people as much.
yeah,
You know.
you don't interact with strangers as much anymore.
Yeah.
That's for
So
sure.
so it's hard to do like small talk nowadays. Like whenever I come with the strangers, like I feel a little awkward. Like what do I? Hey, hi, yeah, I'm here for
How are
this.
you?
Yeah, you don't know what the phrase is saying anymore.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like
like,
the weather's crazy, huh?
yeah, exactly. It's like, how's work? you know?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
always how's work.
it's fucking crazy. Yeah, like, I feel like I've become more socially awkward because of that. I feel
Yeah,
like it contributes to my social awkwardness now.
yeah.
Before I was killing it. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I wouldn't be so scared to approach anyone. Now I'm just like, "What do I say?" What do I how do I like keep this conversation going kind of thing, Like, am I boring this person? I just want to go home. Be back in my room and hermit again.
I mean, that has always been a problem for me, and this has made it way worse. You know, like just quarantining. Like
Amplified it.
I don't talk to any strangers.
Oh, bringing it up, that quarantining. I've received news that you were positive.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
How did that
So
how did
at
that turn
the
out?
around Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
that was the weekend. So my parents were like sick the beginning of that week. They started like they have cold symptoms like coughing and sneezing and like, and at first in hindsight we were thinking like, damn, they probably should have quarantined immediately, like as soon as they developed symptoms. But they were like, no, it's a cold, and they were like milling about for a bit, and we were like, all right, you guys definitely need to get tested. So throughout that beginning of that week they were like still out and about in the house, like, and then on Wednesday I think they got tested. They were sick like leading into that week, and then they got tested at the beginning of that week. Um, and then came back. I think either Tuesday or Wednesday. My dad asked me to call his doctor to set up like the COVID appointment, like to get tested.
Mm-hmm.
So he handed me his phone, and right there, I think that was the moment I got it for sure. When he handed me his phone, and then because
Shit.
in the moment I didn't really think about it, but I was like, all right, here, let me like. He's like, talk to my doctor. I was like, here, fine. Holding the phone up to my face and like touching it and like,
No, no.
and I was like, okay, get out, you're sick. And
That
then
was a transition.
immediately the next day, dude, I was sick. I was like, I had a really sore
Oh.
throat and a headache, and I was like, I wonder where is this from?
I haven't left the house in like a couple
Yeah, I was like, I
days.
haven't talked to anyone. I haven't left the house in like, because at that point was already like 5 days into quarantining.
Hmm.
I was like just home for 5 days, and I was like, wait, who have I seen? And I was like, oh no, my dad. Yeah. Luckily, I had very mild symptoms. I had fever. I didn't have a fever. I had a headache, a sore throat, and like body aches, like kind of like flu-like aches,
Hmm.
but no cough, um, no fever. Although I did have a lot of mucus production,
Mm.
which I was surprised because wasn't it like I thought typically people had a dry cough, but I had really productive cough.
I think
It
it's
wasn't
either
even a
or.
cough. It was just like I'll clear my throat and I'll do like one cough and it'd be like a huge
Like loogie.
mucus, like yeah, big sputum. I was like, holy fuck. And I looked at it and I was like, it was like green and greenish yellow. I was like, yeah, okay, virus.
That's how you know.
But
Damn.
yeah, the worst was the weekend of Thanksgiving. I was like really tired, really achy. But
I think
then
fatigue's a
it
big
cleared up
thing.
pretty quickly.
How
And
long
then
did
for like 1 or 2 days, I had shortness of breath. That was really frustrating and like anxiety building when you just like can't get like can't catch your breath and it's like, God dang it, like why can't I? You get frustrated.
right? You can't breathe.
Hmm.
Like a. I don't know that feeling. Well, actually, I'm assuming like when you work out, that's what you feel like. You're short of
So
breath.
yeah, imagine if you were working out, but you can never un like you're like, but you can never like catch your breath.
Damn,
It's very annoying.
that's fucking rough, dude. Yeah, what can you do? Just go to sleep. Hopefully, you wake up, you feel like you're not short of breath anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I just like try to stay um yeah, resting all day pretty much in bed. And then once the symptoms went away, I started feeling a little bit better. I tried to like slowly incorporate working out back in just to like get my more blood flow to my lungs.
Mm,
I
that's
was
good.
lucky though. My symptoms were very mild.
That's good. Because shortness of breath is where things get kind of a little teetering on the serious end. I feel like that's
Hmm.
what mainly brings people to the hospital when they're like really short of breath and like they feel like they can't like catch their breath and like that's like when people, and it doesn't help when you feel short of breath and it's very anxiety producing, so you just start to
Yeah,
like
you breathe
hyperventilate.
faster.
You start
Yeah.
breathing faster a little more, and it's just overall not a good it's like a vicious cycle that just keeps going.
I will
So
say, like, I should have washed my hands after I touched his phone. You didn't think about it,
well, how
Just
close
like,
were you too? Were you like in the same
no,
vicinity?
he was like, he wasn't that close to me, but he handed me his phone, and
Mm-hmm.
I like took it back to where I was sitting and just like,
Mm.
and I have like a bad habit of like touching my face a lot, I think.
Yeah, me too. I do that all the time. I fucking do that. Oh man, I hate to admit it, but I do that at work too. I'm just like, just just.
And as people are like, dead. Oh shit.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Some of the nurse coworkers like, Tim, stop rubbing your eye. I'm like, oh fuck, okay.
But yeah, dude, quarantine was rough. Like it was I was so bored.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like usually when I get bored at home, I'll work out, but I was so like tired I couldn't even work out. I was like, I
Oh
can't do
no.
anything.
That's what my mentality would be like. I would try to think. I would have such a like mentality, just like, you know what, I'm sick. I'm sick because I didn't work out, so I'm gonna try to work out and try to try to think. You know, my mind is thinking like, if I work out, I'm training my body to fight the virus. But, however, that's like not the right mindset, because you got to let your body's already using up its energy resources to like
Exactly.
recover. So if you're working out while your body's trying to recover, it probably can do more damage than good. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm glad you got better, dude.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. I think like uh everyone at my dad's work, like I think like 15 people got it
Mm.
at his work.
15
And
people.
then
Damn,
yeah.
that.
So that's why he probably got it, gave it to my mom, and then gave it to me. That's why you just like, come on. We have to be better about either being okay wearing masks at home or telling our family members when they, even if they're like a little sick or like you think they might be, just telling them to wear a mask.
Right.
We have to be comfortable about like telling
Just
our family members and demanding our family members wear masks.
exactly. And then it should be a norm now. Like, even if you're
Hmm.
indoors, like, don't be ashamed to wear a mask. Don't feel pressured to show your face, or don't feel offended. I remember one time, um, one of Tiffany's aunts were coming over to just drop off food, and one of the kids was quarantining in their house, and they were just dropping off food, and they're like, I was like, why are you here? Like, shouldn't you be quarantining too if you're someone in your house is quarantining? They're like, yeah, but I haven't been in contact with that person at all. They've been staying in the basement of the house. I was like, then if you want to come in, just wear a mask at least. They're like, why I have to wear a mask? I haven't seen him at all. I was like, just wear a mask, just so like, you
Yeah.
don't know, just to be safe. And you're just kind of making a deal of it. I was like, oh my god, come
Good for
on.
you, Tin.
And I was like, stay back, stay back. I was like, get out, you stay over there, don't come over here. Unless you wear a mask, then you can walk wherever, but but then that's it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
we have to like, you have to be like more comfortable telling people to wear masks.
Hmm. Some people don't like wearing masks, and it's like,
It's not about you.
it's not, yeah. What's crazy? I mean, and I find it
I don't know
pretty.
if I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Sabrina and I were trying to get into the habit of like thanking people for wearing a mask. Like
Mm.
if I think I've talked about this before, but like we'll see someone and like maybe they'll like hold the door for you and it's a stranger, like, oh, thank you for wearing a mask, and it's just like encourages people.
Appreciate them.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, because then there are people. I feel like at least a lot of the media or what we see on the internet so far is people just shaming other people for not wearing a mask, whereas we should probably be on the other end, giving appreciation for those who are wearing masks. Instead of
Yeah.
just what's it called, what the giving a bad vibes to people who don't. Even
I
though
mean, we should
we
still give
should
bad vibes to people who don't, but
we should
also like,
have stuff on the
yeah,
positive.
encourage people and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe hopefully like other people will see us like thanking them and they'll get like, hey, I want to be thanked. I want gratitude, and then they'll put on a mask.
Right. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, where's my
Yeah.
appreciation? And at some point, you'd be like, yo, man, that mask looks nice on you, dude.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I like your design on your mask, kind of thing. Not because you're ugly, but the design on the mask looks really cool. But yeah, man, we should definitely be encouraging people. That's a good idea. Definitely goes a long way.
I mean, speaking of COVID, they developed the vaccine, right?
Yes.
What are your
Yes.
thoughts on it? Like, just like as a nurse, as a first responder, as a healthcare professional, what are your thoughts?
I am excited to take the vaccine. I've actually was talking about Tiffany about this, but yeah, I already got the email from my work, and my workplace is they bought 2,000 doses for the healthcare system, which I
Right.
think is kind of low.
How many
But
people are in your hospital?
I don't know. But I don't think that 2,000 is enough. But I feel like there's more than 2,000 employees. We're not we are given the choice whether we want to take the vaccine or not,
Mm-hmm.
which I think it's I guess okay because you can't really force someone to inject something into their body. I guess there are some like human rights ramifications towards that. Um, However, I think everyone is encouraged to, and so far all of them, everyone I've talked to in the unit are they're very forward of taking it. They do have some concerns though, just because we don't know what the long term effects of it so far.
Yeah, but I think it's understandable, like that
Mm-hmm.
some people are cautious, and like it makes sense that some people are going to want to like see a bunch of other people get it first before they get it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to take it first myself, for the greater good, just to just to show people, like, if I'm okay after taking it, then maybe I
I
can
mean,
lead.
the thing is though, like, um, for the most part, side effects from vaccines almost like rarely ever show up like more than 2 months after the last dose. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
like, you get the last dose, and usually the side effects will pop up within the next following 2 months. And the issue is like this vaccine is like not even 2 months old.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even, it hasn't even existed that long. But yeah, so I understand where people are coming from with like the long-term side effects.
So you're saying the
I
side
mean,
effects would happen within the 2 months, or they usually die off
most
after
times,
2 months?
most times, if anyone has side effects from a vaccine, it's usually within the next following 2 months after they get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the vaccine's so new that like who even got it? It's like
Right.
the first person who got it was like in the UK a couple weeks ago, I think.
Mm-hmm. It was like a 90-year-old something too, like a 90
Yeah.
year old woman that had the
I mean,
very first vaccine.
they probably have done studies and they probably know they would have seen side effects by now, I think, in
The clinical
the
trials.
trials or whatever. But who knows? We can't we don't have enough information to like say that for sure.
Right. We can only figure out from patient zero, like
Yeah.
the people doing the clinical trials, to see how far they've gone along and see if they have any long term side effects since then. And
Right.
I don't, at least I don't know if they keep it undercover, or maybe nothing has happened yet, and so there's nothing to report on. But
Here's my thing though. I'm definitely gonna get it because
mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's side effects for the vaccine. Definitely know there's side effects for getting COVID.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good.
like I feel like I'm gonna have like trouble breathing for a long time, and I hear people who get it have a cough that like lasts up to like months later.
Mm-hmm.
They're just coughing and coughing, and their lungs are damaged for months. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's scary.
Yeah, yeah. They will have cough that will last for months. Yeah, potentially for months, but it can cause some scarring in the lungs. But
Yeah,
and like you said, that's a good way to put it. You would rather have a vaccine that has a good way to prevent that. Has a good chance of that preventing that from happening.
because the vaccine might not have side effects,
Mm-hmm.
but we know COVID has side effects, and we know COVID killed like 300,000 people.
Yeah. So, you gotta pick your choices, and one seems a lot more favorable than the other.
Here's like let's focus on the problem at hand, and then it's like overcome this one, and then we'll think about like the next problem.
For real. But yeah, I'm all for the vaccine. I was actually talking about to Tiffany about this, and I was telling her, like, yeah, I've. She's like, "Are you gonna get the first dose of the vaccine?" I was like, "Yeah, I plan on it, and like, I think it's gonna be for the better, you know." And she was like, telling me that she didn't feel like super comfortable with the idea, only because this, like we said, that's what we went over, like the long term effects. She doesn't want anything to happen to me. She just kind of, it just has a little bit of worry to her that something might
I
happen. But
I will happily get the vaccine as soon as possible,
mhm.
and then that'll give us more data on how safe it is, and like,
Right.
and then it'll make people who are concerned feel more comfortable. Like, all right, there's a bunch of people who took it and they're COVID free, feeling great, you know?
Mhm. And I agree. I mean, and Tiffany, I think she's for the vaccine, but I think she's in the boat that wants to get the second dose, like the second wave. That she
Yeah,
wants,
that's totally okay.
and that's okay. Yeah. And I will be, I'm more willing to be the first dose. It was funny. I was talking to my cousins and my nephews about it. They're like, "Yo, I just got my vaccine scheduled and everything." It's like, "When do you guys schedule?" Like, I haven't been scheduled yet, but I've been approved to get the first dose. They're like, "Okay." And then he's like, "Well, I'm getting this over the weekend, so it sounds like you're gonna get yours over like past that." And for, I guess for a week or so, I'll be slightly more powerful than you. I was like,
fuck.
I was like, fuck,
No.
damn it, dude. We're just like joking around, like they say once I said that it can be transferred orally, I can give you, I can give you, I can pass it on to you. It's funny. But yeah, I'm all for it, dude. Because it's crazy. I was just actually talking to Tiffany on the phone. Like right now, the hospitals, at least my hospital, and I think it goes the same for the full fucking country in the world. It's like our census is really fucking high. Like hospital beds are like being taken up like that, and it's been so stressful at work to the point where like everyone, our whole unit is now a whole COVID unit, and it has been, but before, since like when I guess the first wave, or when it started to die down a little bit over the spring and summer, there wasn't as much COVID patients. We just had like half of the unit as COVID and half of the unit as clean non-COVID
Now
patients.
it's all.
Now it's all, we had to move all the clean patients, the non-COVID patients, to a different unit now, and our main unit is all COVID patients.
Dang.
And what sucks is that like we're like slammed so hard, and we're like in a way understaffed. We, on a normal day, we in the ICU, we usually have 2 patients to 1 nurse ratio. Now we're getting up to 3 patients to 1 nurse ratio, which is very like crazy, because it's like we're always getting backed up. We're late on a lot of things. It sucks because I feel like I can't give like good patient quality care to the patients that need it. Like I can't like focus on my 2 patients when I have a third patient that's kind of like also in a very critical condition, and it's like it doesn't feel good. Like as much as I'm trying to help these people, I can't. I feel like I can't do it in my capacity, and it's just really been stressful lately at work. And I think everyone there, like I've been talking to a lot of nurses there too, and they're feeling like burnt out. They're feeling, the ER nurses are also like really stressed, because there's constantly being packed of, I don't want to say just COVID patients, but like mix of COVID patients and like other patients. So they're having like lines out the door.
Especially because it's like the perfect season for it. Like the weather's changing, it's much colder.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everyone's immune system's a little bit like diminished.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's hard. But the craziest thing that like back when this all started, um, you these patients with COVID that come into the ICU, they aren't as bad like shape. They're coming in for like shortness of breath and everything, da, 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 and we have them on the monitor. We assess them. They're fine. And I'm like talking to these patients, and they tell me their story, where they come from, how many kids they have, and like generally what they do in their normal days. Just so that's so that they have some interaction. Because what sucks is that they're not allowed to have visitors now, or the whole hospital has visitor restrictions. So I guess like for me talking to them, there's just a way for them to just like, pass the day by. But like as the weeks go by, or as days go by, they like get progressively worse. I'm talking to them one day, the next week they're like intubated on a ventilator,
Right.
and they're sedated, and like it's crazy how like at one point I'm talking to them, having a conversation, to one other point, week later they're getting worse, and it doesn't look like it's a good outcome for them either. Like literally this one guy I have right now, I've weeks ago, like beginning, I guess at the end of November is when I was taking care of him. He was in bed. I was having a conversation with him, talking, watching TV, eating breakfast. He's a really nice guy. And then now that I look at him, he's on a ventilator, and he's very skinny. Sorry, but at the time he was very skinny. Um, very nice dude. And then now I look at him, he's like, his face, his mouth is all covered in black because of sometimes you get bleeding, and you don't clog too well with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
His body looks like his stomach is distended. It's like is very outward. He looks like a water balloon, if anything. His so much edema all over his hands. His hands. You don't even see his veins anymore. It's just like think of it as like a Michelin man, kind of thing. Person. There's just like fluid overload. There's fluid. What they call is third spacing. Is that when there's not any fluid, or I guess in a way water in your veins, it's going out into your muscles and tissues, and then it's just
Right.
kind of like blowing up a little bit. And it's just kind of crazy to see that. And like I thought he was gonna be okay. I was like, oh, this guy, his symptoms aren't that bad, but he's just progressively getting worse.
Right.
And I don't think he is gonna, like, just for me taking care of him and just seeing his overall status, or his, I don't know how to fucking say it. His basically, I don't think he's gonna come out from the ventilator. I think it's gonna turn out poorly. But I have been wrong before. This one guy was hanging. I had one patient who was hanging by a thread earlier back in like March, and he managed to come back and like was able to go home. But I'm sure that he's coming home with a lot of like detrimental, like,
Yeah. Like lasting
effects.
effects.
Yeah.
Do you feel
So
like do you feel like working with all these COVID patients has shaped the way you like view like certain behavior? Like you've seen what COVID does, and you've seen like people like get ravaged by this disease. Do you feel like it changes the way you think of people who are like anti-mask, or people who are like anti-quarantine or whatever? Do you feel like that you're like extra mad at them, or do you feel like some sort of way about it?
I feel disappointed about it, that people don't take consideration of other people. I try to chalk it up to the idea that they don't know what it's like from my point of view, because they don't see the things that I see. A lot of people don't see what happens in the hospital, especially like an ICU bed, I guess, you know. And hopefully they come out of it to be able to tell other people like, yo, I was in the ICU, this is what I saw, y'all better take your shit seriously, because there are people, I'm just in a way hoping that's the case, that people would spread the good news, or spread encouragement of wearing masks and be safer about all this shit. But for other people who are like anti-mask and like don't like to wear a mask. Like, I don't, in a way, I try to chalk that as me not trying to. I don't blame them because they don't know too much. But if there's a kind of like a message that we can like show them, or a video of what goes on in the hospitals, is for them to see the things that they're doing, like what the ramifications of not wearing a mask, or taking the extra step to to be clean, hygiene, just being wary, helping out society in a way. If they can see the things that we see, I think they would be much more, you know, proactive in helping out and doing their part. But I feel like since it doesn't affect them directly, it's like, why do I care? If I can like show them a video of someone on a ventilator for someone who doesn't wear a mask, like this is because someone didn't wear a mask. This guy is fighting for their life and breathing for their life, and like, this is what's going on in the hospital for the nurses right now because someone didn't wear a mask. Like, all of us are stressed. Our job feels right now, I've been talking to some of the nurses, and it feels like our job right now is like not actually being able to heal people, but it's like trying to stop them it's trying to slow down the death process, if anything. And it fucking sucks. Like, when the feeling that you have, like, you feel like you can't save someone, like they're not gonna make it, it's like you feel like, why? It's like a feeling that we have but we don't want to admit to, or not to admit to it, but like we don't want to acknowledge it. But it's like, why are we trying to do more? Why are we doing so much for someone that is already past the line of being saved? And it's a hard thought to have, but it's what we have. And I can see how people can have like PTSD from this. I was stressed about this for a while, because when you're taking care of a patient and you don't see them coming off, or when you do so much for them but they still end up dying in the end, it's kind of like, shit, dude. What was there something I could have done differently, or maybe I missed something that could have been like life-saving? And it takes a toll.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how many patients have passed away on your, like, while you were working?
I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't keep count, but I do remember remember all like the faces though, like when they do die. I would say it's a lot. I don't know. I would say
any number more than 1 is too much.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot.
Or any number more than 0 is too much.
Let me put it in this perspective. Okay, so since I started working to the time before COVID happened, I probably have only seen 1 or 2 deaths, and that was over a course of a year, like over a year, and just 1 or 2 deaths in the ICU. Since COVID has happened to now,
that number
I've
exponentially
seen
went up.
At least like maybe 15 to 20 deaths.
Right.
On my own, so like it has been a lot. It's been ramped up, and I see it in person too, so I try to encourage those to just wear a mask, do what you can, because there are other people who are feeling it on the other end and taking care of the people. And what's crazy is that these hospital administrators are taking advantage of it in a way by not advantage of it, but they're trying to be really cost effective by not giving us the right proper PPE.
Right.
Until like now, like before, until now, I guess, or not until now, but
yeah, because I think I read an article that some people were still using like months old PPE. I was like, that's crazy.
That is fucking crazy, dude. That's so unsafe. And
yeah.
Like, oh my god. Luckily, my hospital system, we got into like reusable PPE, where they use it once, but you put it into a bin for it to get washed to sterile processing, and then it is the more cost effective way because we're not burning through one time use PPE and that goes straight into the trash. Instead of we using one time PPE that gets rewashed and then gets sent back to us and then for us to reuse again, which I understand is a good way to save money on that end. But it just happened a little too late because we at one point we were reusing the one time disposable
Oh no.
PPEs because there were shortage of them or the companies didn't have any more to send to us, and we were like, what the fuck? Dude, this is fucking nuts and unsafe. It just, I don't know, like they should have prepared better for us, and like we should have had much more in stock, I guess. I don't know, but there's that was one issue, and I don't know, but yeah, I'm open to any other questions you might have. I just wish we were allowed to have like I don't want to say a live stream, but some kind of like video recording for people on the outside world to be able to see in the inside.
Yeah.
Another thing too. What's really crushing is that since we're not allowed to have visitors, the best we can do is we have an iPad in the unit that we FaceTime for family members, and it's very hard for people to see a loved one through a fucking like through FaceTime, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when
same.
it's not. You can't touch them, you can't kiss them, you can't like hold them, you can't speak to their ear. It's crazy because these family members are just talking to their loved ones through a video, and then their loved ones are like on a ventilator, and you're hoping that they can, they're hoping that they can see them through or hear them through a ventilator, through a patient being sedated, And then like the worst thing is that when a patient does code or dies, the doctor has to give them the bad news over a phone, over a phone call.
That's so terrible.
And that's like the hardest thing about work, to hear that, But yeah, that's just my experience. And I don't usually talk about that too much with anyone besides Tiffany. When I come home from work, I tell her, like, I'll just kind of have to vent about the shit that goes down at work. But other than that, I usually don't like tell anyone else what goes on at work, only because I don't want them to feel bad or like kind of put in a negative atmosphere, or to be a Debbie Downer for everyone. Like, I like to keep that to myself, just kind of vent to Tiffany so she kind of hear me out, and then I'd like to have everyone focus on like the good things, or positive whatever's going on. But that's like some of the shit that I go through at work. But it was nice to share, though.
Well, thanks for sharing, Tin.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for your service.
Anytime. But yeah, I'm down for this vaccine, dude. Can't wait for that shit. I can't wait. All right, so you want to do the last segment? Should we wrap it up?
Sure. So at the end of every episode, we do a segment called "What's Up with You," where we just talk about what's been going on in our lives and what's been catching our attention. What's up with you, Tin?
What's up with me? So, actually, it's more gaming related. So I'm sorry for those who can't or aren't as interested.
Tone shift a little bit.
I know, right? So what's up with me is that me, like Phil, and Shijin, and Sunny, and Joe have been started to play a little bit more League recently, League of Legends.
Oh.
And it's actually been pretty fun because I'm like, kind of retouching on my old skills, and I've been in a way craving a competitive game. Competitive game that requires teammates. I feel like, I don't think I've explained this before, but I really like games where it's very team oriented, where you're trying to beat another team, and when your team comes out on top, it's probably like the best feeling ever. that's like a good bonding moment, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Yeah, teamwork
I
is yeah, like I thought you were playing like COD or something, right?
I was
Wasn't that
before.
like a team game?
It was a team game. I enjoyed that too. Like when we come out on top in COD too. Oh my god, it's so good. It feels, uh, everyone's like patting each other on the back, like good job guys, good job, good teamwork, good communication. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's a good bonding experience. For one thing, and it's just it feels good to win. You know, like your skills have some. Your skills, come to fruition. It
Yeah.
shines
I
in
get
a,
that feeling from Apex Legends because or yeah, it requires a lot of shot calling and like all right, like communicating with your
mm-hmm.
teammates. And I think Apex Legends, like even if you're like playing with like one random person or like two random people, the pinging system is so robust that I feel like you get that communication via that way. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you can like ping like enemy here. I need this, check this, like I'm going here. But obviously it's way better with when you're playing with your friends.
Definitely. I think playing with your friends it just amplifies that even more. But like
Yeah.
playing with random, if you can do that with random people too, that's pretty good as well. Like if you're able to pull off a win with them, it becomes a little bit even more of a bonding experience too. Like
For
not even
sure.
more, but even a regular bonding experience because you start to like, wow, I won with this team. Why not just add them as friends? And play. We put to play with them together. You guys get good chemistry going on. You guys did something right to win the game. I feel like in Apex Legends, I think was the first one to integrate that kind of pinging system, and
Yeah.
then I think COD kind of like, also implemented that into their game as well. So I think Apex was like really well known for that. I remember when I first used it, I was like, damn, this is nice to use because if you don't want to talk to your teammates, you still have a ping system to let them know what you're trying to
Yeah.
indicate what you're trying to do. And I know PUBG didn't have that, so that's nice.
So yeah, you've been playing League. You've just been playing like um you have like five-man teams and you play
Uh,
against other five-man teams.
4 man to 5 man team. Yeah, it's for
Okay.
League of Legends like a 5 man team versus another 5 man team. So if you get 5 of your friends to beat another 5 friends, oh my
I haven't
god.
played League like honest like proper League in
Mm.
years. I haven't played League in years.
It's
I do play a lot of the other game mode on League, but I don't play like
Team fight
Summer's
tactics.
Rift. Yeah, I
Yeah,
play Team Fight Tactics.
that's totally fine. I think team fight tactics is more so single, like one versus all oriented.
It's so much fun with your friends though, because you're
Yeah.
like because you guys are all in the same chat and you're just like and you like kind of you kind of dig each other over and it's really funny.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I see you're building this. I'm gonna counter with this, bitch.
Or like, oh, you need that? I'm gonna take
Yeah,
it.
right. Cock block them in a way. That's funny. But so that's where I am gaming wise. And also on top of that, Cyberpunk 2077 just came out,
Oh yeah.
and that's been like recently. It's been pretty hyped up, and I haven't gotten the chance to play it yet. But I do intend to play it. But right now, I think I was in a single player atmosphere for a while, so I'm kind of craving a little bit of competitive teamwork
Yeah.
gameplay right now. So until that kind of dies down, I'm looking to play Cyberpunk 2077 after that. So that's where I'm at gaming wise. For show wise, me and Shijin have actually been starting to watch Terrace House, the very first season,
Oh, okay.
which isn't available on Netflix in the US. So Shijin actually like downloaded like the
VPN.
whole. I think so.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
dude.
okay.
He downloaded the whole first season to like do torrents or some shit. Um, and yeah, we've been watching it. That shit is good. I can see why they got more seasons out of it. Like we were just like, some of the episodes will hit you so hard that we're I know that one time it hit us so hard, me and Shijin, that we're both like just like crying together, like tearing up, like, oh shit, dude, it's hitting me in the feels right now. This is such a good scene. And it's just really enjoyable to watch, to have someone watch Terrace House with you, because you're kind of going through the same emotions together, and like, you
You
know,
like
we're
there's like the people who react to the people living there. You guys are those people,
exactly,
like the
yeah.
commentators.
We're pretty much our own commentators. And what's funny is that the first season they didn't have any. Well, they only had one commentator. It wasn't until like 20 episodes in
Right.
they actually brought on like more commentators on the cast. So for the very like first like 2019 episodes or something, they just had just cast members and like one commentator just but wasn't really doing anything much by himself.
Yeah.
It just purely cast members, and we're just like watching it, and we're just commentating on our own. So that was a really cool experience. It was different at first. I didn't like it at first, but then I got used to it. And I could see how good the show was without the commentators. I was like, wow, this stuff really shines on its own. But yeah, that's what's up with me so far. What's up with you?
Um, in terms of gaming, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 a lot with my friends. That game's so much fun. I think I like it so much because it's like new, and there's like so much to explore, which I love.
What kind of game is Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate 3 is so it's an RPG basically, and it's basically like a turn-based, it's like you walk around and you explore, and then when the fight comes up, it's like turn-based RPG.
Oh.
Imagine like,
Is it like Divinity?
yes, exactly
Situation?
like Divinity,
Ah,
made by the
okay.
same studio.
Gotcha.
So it's very like, but it's cool because it's uh D&D based. So Baldur's Gate 3 is from D&D, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's like roles, like you can do like uh persuasion checks, or you can do like um perception checks and stuff like that. And it's like, depending on what your stats are, it helps you like convince the certain enemies to like be friendly to you, or like sneak around certain things. It's very
Mm.
fun.
Is it very like not very RNG? Is it like some sort of RNG too? Like even though you have the
Yeah.
stats, you still have to like.
Yep.
But the higher your stats, the better chances that you successfully.
Exactly.
Okay. Ah.
So it's
Okay.
really fun when you're like, because you can listen in on like the cutscenes. So your friend is like talking to uh like a cult leader or something, and you're just like, oh man, is he gonna roll it? Is he gonna convince this guy? And you just like
Mm-hmm.
watch him roll like a 4. You're like, haha. uh, and then it's cool because your decisions have impact. So like, depending on who you kill and like what's parts of the map you explore, it opens like different story points for you.
Oh damn. So like one playthrough won't be the same as another playthrough. Like
Exactly.
it's like a very I want to say like very personalized experience.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. And is it a
Yeah, it's a lot
multiplayer
of
game?
fun. Yep,
Wow.
it's very fun. In terms of shows, I just been watching a lot of like during quarantine. I watched a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
The anime that I really enjoyed was Kengan Ashura. It's a fighting anime.
Ooh, I like
It's
fighting.
basically like a martial arts tournament, and like people of different martial arts will like come and like fight and try to like use their techniques and stuff. I like it because it is like, sometimes when you watch martial arts anime, it gets out of hand, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy they have like superpowers and stuff. You're like, well, now it's not really martial arts.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, the most egregious example of this is God of High School. It starts off as this great um, fighting tournament, and then somewhere along the way, it's like, oh, now I'm actually the reincarnation of the Monkey King. I have like these magic powers. You're like, what? And then there's like, oh, he's like, oh yeah, when I fight, I summon the spirit of Hercules and he gives me super strength, you're like, what?
Uh,
This is not martial arts anymore. This is just
right.
cartoon fighting.
Like it loses its sense of realism and
Yeah.
becomes less relatable. Cause
Which I don't mind if an anime does that from the get-go. Like JoJo, for example, it's absurd from the get-go. It's like, yeah, we have stand powers. I can write your name in this book and it changes your history forever. And I'm like, okay, that's funny. And then it's like,
hmm
oh yeah, uh, it's, but it doesn't pretend to be something else, when it doesn't pretend to be a martial arts series and then like add superpowers in it.
hmm
But Kengan Ashura I really like because it's like they have weird powers, but it's like explained and it's like it makes sense in the context of the show. Like for example, the guy he can like slash someone with his hands. Like
hmm
he has just but that's because his grip strength is like super strong or something like that. And you're like, okay, I can follow the logic.
Right.
Or like he can increase his heart rate like uh so fast that like increases all the blood flow to his muscles so he's stronger. And you're like, oh, okay, I can follow that.
hmm
He's like, I tense my muscles at the last second and makes me strong. Like it hits 3 times stronger. And you're like, that makes sense?
Right. Right. So it's like it's still in a sense in its own realm of like its boundaries. Like
Yeah.
everything is explained with logic, and you can follow with it. It's like okay, something you can try in real life. It's like oh, it's something you can apply to yourself. Like oh, let me see if I can try some stupid shit like this too. You know?
And it's cool because it's like, oh, this guy, he's trained uh in sumo, so he's like really, really strong and he's really, really like he has the technique to like hold his ground really well. And you're like, oh, it's real
hmm
martial arts. He's like, oh, this guy is a police officer. He's had police academy training, so he fights that certain way. And you're like, oh, of course, cool. But yeah, that's what I've been watching.
That's Kagure Ashura.
It's Kengan Ashura.
Kengan Ashura. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
All right, let's wrap it up so I can go eat dinner.
Okay, yeah, my stomach was pretty was kind of growling too in the middle of the podcast. All
All
right,
right, thank you for listening, guys. It's been another episode of Oka Cast. This is episode 21. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Patreon. Um, what
Anchor
else?
Anchor.fm.
Oh yeah, anchor.fm/OkaCast. We'll
Yes.
put a link in the description.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Remember, leave some feedback. If you have any questions, or you guys want us to talk about, or if you guys want to hear more stories about like my experience of nursing or some shit in COVID, or you know, Alan's quarantine experience or whatever.
Oh my
What?
god, I can't believe I got fucking COVID.
Damn.
Unbelievable.
Out for the count, baby. All right. But yeah, don't be hesitant, guys. I know you guys are listening, but
All
you guys
right.
aren't saying anything. Anyways,
Bye.
bye.